This message is for my woman. If you have a womb, then this message is for you. However, this message may not resonate with everyone. So this message isn't for everyone. Ladies, you need to stop syncing yourself to the moon. Stop worshiping the moon. A few months ago, I had what I'm going to call a sun activation. I was sitting outside in the sun and rays of light hit my third eye. And for, I'm gonna say between 3 and 5 minutes, all I can see was light. Now this light started out fiery red, and then it went to an orangey red, and then the light got lighter and brighter. And I remember coming out of that experiencing, knowing that I had just experienced something, but not understanding what I had experienced. So shortly after that, I received a download that masculine energy is an illusion. Now, all of the downloads that I've received since that sun activation, and I had to write this shit down, all of the downloads I've received since that sun activation, I'm just now putting together. So the first download was masculine energy being an illusion. So that made me think, if masculine energy is an illusion, then we've been lied to about what the sun and the moon represent. See, we was taught that the sun represents masculine energy and the moon represents feminine energy. And because we've been taught that, women have been syncing themselves to the moon, right? And what I believe is happening is the moon has been siphoning our womb power, our womb energy. And my most recent download was, remember the time before the moon. So a time existed where there were only women on the planet. And during this time, women were able to create life without the male counterpart because the male counterpart didn't exist yet. So the women, the goddesses, would sit out in the sun and be activated. And that activation from the sun would impregnate them. Women were whole and complete on their own. They had everything they needed to produce life. They were able to produce semen through their bone marrow. Remember the time before the moon. So the time before the moon was a time when only women existed. Now, in another video, I can break down what happened when the moon got here, but I don't want to make this video too long. So once the moon was placed here, the moon's purpose here, the moon's purpose is to control the waters and control the womb. Okay, and if as women we were taught to worship the moon like it was some type of goddess, we have been giving our divine feminine energy to the moon. So since my sun activation, I realized that the past couple of months, I have no longer been synced to the moon. And that's because I've called all of my womb power back to myself. I've called all my womb energy back. And once I did that, it disconnected me from the moon. Now, I was a moon girly. I was syncing my cycles to the moon. But the time before the moon, there were no cycles for women. We didn't menstruate. We didn't need to. There was no need for us to bleed every month to create life. This was all set in place once the moon was placed here to control the womb and control the waters. So since I am no longer connected to the moon, it's like I have not seen the moon or been connected to moon cycles for the past 4 months. And that's because I called all of my energy back to my womb. That's because I've been doing so much womb cleansing and womb healing. So all my power, the moon is like a magnet, just like the uterus, just like the womb is a magnet. And we have been magnetized toward the moon and allowing the moon to siphon our energy from our womb. We have been allowing the moon to siphon our womb energy. And the past 4 months, my cycles have been different. I recently had a myomectomy to remove my fibroids. So prior to that, my cycles were heavy. They lasted 5 to 7 days. But the past 4 months, they were light and lasted about 2 days. And I'm no longer synced to any type of moon cycles emotionally at all. I have not seen the moon in 4 months. And that's not to say that the moon hasn't been there. I just have not been pulled toward it like I used to be, because I was giving away my power to the fucking moon. So I used to look for the moon. I was a moon girly, and I have not seen the moon in 4 months. But I've always been outside. I love the sun, but now I've been connecting to the sun and nature on a whole different level. That is where our energy is we're supposed to draw from the sun and from the earth as a woman. Now, of course, they had us believing that the sun is masculine energy because we were taught that the planets orbit the sun. The planets revolve around the sun. And just like a masculine, just like a male, just like a man, they are ego-centered and think everything revolves around them. But the truth is, the woman is the center. The woman is the center, and everything revolves around her. If there's one thing that we've learned, is that everything we've been taught is a lie. And just because it's about energies and it's spiritual doesn't mean we still weren't taught a lie. Ladies, stop syncing yourself to the moon.